In this tutorial, we will look at how to install Appeon properly in the most common configuration. This configuration consists of installing the Developer Edition of Appeon for PowerBuilder 2015 to a 64-bit Windows 7 or 8 machine. Please note that Windows XP is not supported for installing Appeon for PowerBuilder 2015. The most common configuration consists of having PowerBuilder 12.x, SQL Anywhere 12, .NET Framework 4.x, and a local deployment, which essentially means having your Appeon developer and your Appeon server installed on the same machine. Before we begin, we want to verify that the prerequisite software has already been installed to the system. One of those softwares that are required is Sybase PowerBuilder. You can use any version of PowerBuilder, but as we mentioned, in the most common configuration, we'll be using version 12.x, in this case 12.5. It is okay to have multiple versions of PowerBuilder installed to the machine, and you can have the Appeon developer toolbar installed to one or more versions of PowerBuilder on the same Windows PC. SQL Anywhere is also required if you will be installing the demo applications that ship with the Appeon product. You can use any recent version of SQL Anywhere. In this case, we have SQL Anywhere 11. It is important to verify that you have both the 32 and 64-bit engines of SQL Anywhere on your Windows PC, since we're running a 64-bit version of the Windows OS. To verify that both 32 and 64-bit engines of SQL Anywhere are installed, select SQL Anywhere, click Change, and then you will see an Install Shield wizard screen that opens with several radio buttons that you can choose from. Select the Modify Radio button and click Next. And then you'll be prompted with a custom setup screen. You want to make sure that under 64-bit and 32-bit, they're all selected. If they're not selected, you'll notice a red X, and in which case, by clicking on the drop-down arrow, you can select the component. 32 and 64-bit are required in order to run the demo applications in PowerBuilder in a 32-bit mode, as well as running your web and mobile applications in Appeon in a true 64-bit native mode. Now that we've verified that SQL Anywhere is properly installed, we will need to ensure that the .NET framework is also installed. On Windows 7, in the Programs and Features, you will find Microsoft .NET Framework 4 appearing in your programs list. Make sure that the Microsoft .NET Framework 4 Extended is installed, as you see selected in this example. If only the client profile is installed, you will need to download the full Microsoft .NET Framework from the Microsoft website and install it. This is very important and is required in order to run .NET server-based applications such as Appeon. On Windows 8, verifying the .NET framework is slightly different. You'll need to click Turn Windows Features on or off on the left-hand side, and you'll see that there's two .NET frameworks you can choose from. The one that is required for Appeon is .NET Framework 4.0 or 4.5. In the case of Windows 8, it ships with a 4.5. You expand the tree view, select the ASP.NET 4.5 box so it's selected. Also expand the WCF services and make sure you've selected the TCP port sharing. Once you've done that, click OK to install the .NET framework. Now that the .NET framework has been properly installed, we need to make sure that the Microsoft IIS server has also been installed and with all the required components. To install or verify the required components, click Turn Windows Features On or Off and search for the Internet Information Service. Check the box and expand the tree view. You will see three choices. Check Web Management Tools and World Wide Web Services. Then expand Web Management Tools. Make sure that the three check boxes below have been checked: the IIS Management Console, Scripts and Tools, and Service. Then expand World Wide Web Services. Ensure all 5 checkboxes have been selected. Then expand Application Development Features. Go ahead and check every single box so that all are selected. Note, on Windows 7 you might have fewer options, and that's okay. Just select every single box underneath Application Development Features. Then expand the Common HTTP Features, and you can select all of the boxes except for the last one. It does not hurt to select additional components. The only thing that matters is ensuring that you meet the minimum requirements. Then we open up Health and Diagnostics. HTTP logging should be checked. Open up the Performance Features. Make sure Static Content Compression has been checked. And lastly, open up the Security tab and make sure Request Filtering has been checked. Once all the proper components have been checked, click OK, and this will actually start the process to install IIS or install any missing components that will be required by Appeon. This process could take a moment depending on the speed of your computer. Once installation has finished, Windows will prompt you that the changes have been completed, and you can click Close to close out the window. Now that IIS is installed, the next step is to register the .NET framework and associate the .NET framework with your Microsoft IIS. To do so, open up the command prompt and go into the Windows directory. Then change into Microsoft.NET. Then change into Framework 64, since we're running a 64-bit operating system. Then we will list the contents of this directory, and you will notice a version 4.0 of the .NET framework. We will change into that directory, and once we've done that, we will need to register the .NET framework. To do so, type ASP.NET_REG IIS.exe -I and click Enter. Once the ASP.NET has finished installing, you need to type IIS reset to restart your IIS server. Once it's successfully restarted, the command prompt will return. Now that Microsoft.NET Framework has been installed, we need to verify that it has the proper permissions to run within the IIS. To do so, we need to do a couple of things. First, open up the Microsoft IIS Manager. If you see this console, just go ahead and close it. You can expand the tree view and make sure the top node has been selected. Then navigate to .NET Trust Levels and make sure Full Internal has been selected. Then we click the Back button and scroll down to ISAPI and CGI restrictions underneath the IIS subgroup. Double click that, and you want to see that there's an ASP.NET version 4.0 appearing. there's two. One is for 32-bit and the other is for 64-bit. You can confirm that by looking at the folder name Framework and Framework 64. Both of these should be set to allowed. If it's not, select the item, and on the right hand side you'll be able to click an allow action, which will then change the status. Once that has been completed, you will need to then navigate to the IIS web root. The IIS web root is located on your C drive, INET pub folder, www root. Right-click on that folder, www root, and go to the Properties. Switch to the Security tab, and you want to locate the IIS_IUSRS account. If that does not appear, click Edit, and you can add it by clicking the Add button. Once you've added the IIS users account, select it, and you want to make sure that the full control box has been checked. In this case, it has not, and IIS does not have all the permissions that are necessary. So we will check the box, click Apply, and click OK to apply the changes. Once we've done that, we now need to open our favorite browser, such as Internet Explorer, and type in localhost in the browser. And doing so should bring up the IIS welcome page. If you see the IIS welcome page, congratulations, you have properly configured your machine, and it is now ready to install Appeon for PowerBuilder 2015. To install Appeon for PowerBuilder 2015, open up the folder and locate the setup file. Right-click on the file and select Run as Administrator. You will see the Appeon for PowerBuilder launch screen, which has several different options. You can view server settings for advanced configuration, training videos that include video tutorials like the one you're currently watching, Appeon product manuals, and last-minute release notes that may contain very important information, which we recommend that you read. So we'll go ahead and install the Appeon program. This will launch the installation program. And just go ahead and click Next here. Accept the license agreement. And select the appropriate product type. In most cases, you'll be installing Appeon Universal, which offers you both web and mobile deployment capabilities. Enter your product key in the appropriate box corresponding with the product type that you have checked, and click Next. In this situation, we're installing Appeon Developer to a local environment, so we will install the server, developer, and help all to the same machine. We do not need to install the Appeon Server Web component. This is only required for advanced configurations that require a cluster of web servers for load balancing. Click Next. And this will begin the Appeon Server installation process. Select the default website, click Next. Select the demo applications, click Next. Select a 64-bit engine of SQL Anywhere. This is only required because we selected the demo applications. Click Next. The default username and password for AEM is admin. We recommend you change this for a production environment or any servers that can be accessed from external networks. Click Next. ASP.NET settings can remain as the default shown here. However, for a production environment, you should optimize these and click Next and click Next. So this will begin the installation process of the Appeon server to the Microsoft IIS. The Appeon server provides runtime services to your Appeon web and mobile applications. This process could take a minute depending on the speed of your computer. Once the Appeon server installation has completed, the Appeon developer installation will automatically launch, and you will typically install to the default destination folder. Click Next. If you have multiple versions of PowerBuilder installed, they will all be listed in the screen. And you can have multiple boxes checked, or you can associate Appeon with just one installation of PowerBuilder. And click Next. We will maintain these as the default settings of localhost, and click Next. And we will select a 32-bit engine of SQL Anywhere, and click Next, and Next. And this will now begin the Appeon developer installation to your PowerBuilder. The Appeon developer is a toolbar that appears inside PowerBuilder and provides the set of tools necessary to configure, analyze, test, and deploy your web or mobile application from the PowerBuilder IDE. It also includes a number of demo applications that may be useful for you in developing your web or mobile applications with Appeon. Again, this process could take a few minutes depending on the speed of your machine. And we would recommend keeping both of these boxes checked. It does not hurt. It will restart the IIS server and also perform a registration of the .NET Framework 4.0 or 4.5. Just click the Finish button, and a browser will open with advanced settings that are required for Windows Server 2008 R2. In this case, we did not install on this server, so we can ignore these instructions. Now what we want to do is verify that the Appeon server and the Appeon developer have been correctly installed. To do so, first we will verify the Appeon server. Just open up your favorite web browser, type in localhost, and verify that you still can see the IIS Windows welcome page. If you cannot see this screen, then your IIS is not working properly and you need to correct that. Once IIS is verified to work properly, type in AEM and hit enter. And you should see the Appeon Enterprise Manager welcome screen. If you do not see the Appeon Enterprise Manager welcome screen, your Appeon server has not been correctly installed, and you need to correctly install Appeon server before you can proceed to develop and test web or mobile applications. Now what we will do is verify that Appeon developer has been properly installed. To do so, just locate the Appeon demo PB workspace. Right-click on the Appeon demo PB workspace and run as administrator. It is very important to run this as administrator. Otherwise, the Appeon toolbar icons will not be able to open. And you can see that the Appeon demo workspace has been opened, and there are several different demo applications. You will right-click on any one of these applications and click Run and verify that it can run. Okay. You also want to verify that the toolbar icons open, which they do. And you have now finished installing Appeon server and developer on a Windows 64-bit PC.